snack. Me and you gonna have a little chat about books. Hi guys, so I am here today to do a book review, and the book that I'm going to be reviewing is Foehammer, which is by Duncan Campbell. I was sent this book by the author for review, but of course I'm going to tell you guys my honest opinion whether it's good or bad, and that doesn't affect my review at all. So this is a book that I was offered by the author, and I didn't know an awful lot about it, but I said yes because it sounded kind of intriguing. This book is a little bit different from what I normally read. It's not a high fantasy book, it's kind of a blend of various different genres. I would say that you can see elements of sci-fi, dystopian, fantasy, action and adventure all in this book, so it is a lot to be crammed into a less than 300-page book. There are elements that really work and elements that didn't work as well. I think one of the things I very much appreciated about this book was that there was always something going on, and it was quite an interesting read from that point of view. There was definitely not that many moments of slow, boring stuff. However, I did feel like it was quite repetitive. The people that we're following seem to end up in the same sort of situation in different areas of the world over and over again, which I didn't love because I felt like I'd already seen it one time and I didn't really want to see it again and again. I definitely felt like this fell into the trap of, because it's a shorter book, there's not enough development on the characters, and there's quite a few different characters who we are following in this, and I didn't feel like any of them had a massive amount of development or really connected with me, which was a bit of a shame because they could have been interesting because there were some really interesting quirky characters, but it just didn't live up to what I was hoping for. If it had been a longer book, I feel like it could have done that, but because it's a short one, it didn't do that, and it didn't really hook me into the story as much as I would have liked. And although it's tiny, it's really, really short, it took me quite a while to get through because it just didn't grip me as much as anything else I was reading at the time. The story is set in our modern day world where something has gone on in the White House of America, and no one really knows what, because the White House has just been closed off and quarantined and no one really knows what's going on. They don't know if there's creatures there, they don't know if it's a virus, they don't know if it's a disease. No one knows what is going on. However, it is really not a big deal. The Americans of the day are not really fussed by the fact that they haven't seen their president. There's not even a panic or anything like that. They're very chilled out about it, which to me was a little bit odd. I feel like if the president went missing, people would have something to say about it. But in this world and in this book, they didn't really care. Behind the scenes, of course, there is a lot more going on than meets the eye. No one really has a clue, but there are a few high-up individuals who have banded together and they know a lot more than they're letting on. And when it seems like there might be some sort of threat inside the White House, a team of people is gathered together by these high-up individuals in order to go in and assess the situation and try and find out what is going on. The team is quite a strange collection of people, and they are the ones who we are following. The first of these is the Jester, who is a kind of half-mad veteran. He's clearly been through a lot and he deals with everything he's been through in some very odd ways. Then we have Jodie, who is the main focus of the story. Unfortunately, I didn't really care about her character. I felt like she was whining way too much. But she is a young woman who is very well-trained shooter, but otherwise she's fairly ordinary. Curtis is a young man who has travelled around the world to some various different crazy parts of it and met up with various indigenous small tribes and cultures with some very magical results. Helga is an older Russian lady who has incredible strength. She also has been through quite a bit. And finally we have Cryboy, who is an internet hacker and he's part of the team too. We also have Weaver, who we follow, who's not technically part of the team, he's more of the coordinator, but I have to say that I really didn't like him. I think he was the most annoying character for me, and I just found him very rubbish as a leader and very pathetic as a leader because he just didn't inform the team well enough of everything that was going on. This group of misfits and magical people are sent to try and deal with the problems that are facing the White House. Basically, they have to take on a lot of scary bad stuff behind closed doors. I felt like it was a very punchy story. There was a lot that happened and they were travelling around a lot and they had a lot of things to fight against and a lot of things to defeat. There was also a distinct lack of development, and that really let the story down in terms of enjoying the characters and enjoying the story as a whole. Because of that, I didn't connect with any of the characters, therefore I didn't care if they lived or died, which means that even if they were in a scary situation, I was just reading to find out what was happening as opposed to reading for pure enjoyment. I would have really liked to see more fleshed out individuals because I feel like that would have made this story very, very interesting, and it would have made you care about the characters a lot more. But I did think that some of the bad guys in this book were quite inventive, and that was cool. I would give this a 3 out of 5 stars. It's an okay book. There's a lot of stuff that happens that is interesting. It just suffers from lack of development, and that is the major problem with it. But on the whole, if you do like dystopian or action or adventure, then this might be more for you, especially if you're more into urban fantasy and modern day, because I am way more into mythical fantasy and made-up worlds, whereas this definitely doesn't have that. So it's up to you guys. I would love to know if you think that this sounds more like your sort of thing than mine. Definitely leave me your comments below if you haven't ever heard of this and what you think of it now, or whether you'll be picking it up, etc. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all very, very soon in another video. Bye! Me and you gonna have a little chat about the